war. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You
was
don't have
in
the cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not playing
cards. But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives
in the
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm-
It's
with
back
all
to
respect
you.
to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Donald Trump thought he could stroll into the Oval Office today, flash his signature, smirk, and sweet-talk Zelensky into surrendering chunks of Ukraine to Putin like he was closing a real estate deal. But guess what? Zelensky isn't some desperate casino owner looking for a last-minute bailout. The Ukrainian president came prepared, and when Trump tried his usual let's make a deal routine, things went downhill fast. Trump accused Zelensky of gambling with World War III for refusing to hand over Ukrainian land, as if the guy defending his own country is the problem here. Classic Trump logic: blame the victim and cozy up to the aggressor. The meeting was so hostile that Zelensky left early, and Trump, never one to handle rejection well, cancelled a press conference. Probably for the best, because the last thing the world needs is another rambling monologue where he forgets what NATO is and accidentally calls Putin a strong, tremendous leader. But let's not pretend this was ever going to be a diplomatic triumph. Trump's foreign policy experience boils down to bromance letters from Kim Jong-un, and his idea of strategy is telling Ukraine to just get along with a dictator who bombs their cities for fun. And now, instead of making America great again, he's trying to make appeasement great again. What's next? A Nobel Peace Prize for surrendering democracy. And speaking of appeasement, history is screaming at us right now. The last time Western leaders thought they could pacify a power-hungry dictator by offering up land, his name was Adolf Hitler, and it didn't end well. In 1938, Britain and France handed Czechoslovakia to Hitler in the name of peace. And surprise, surprise, he took that as an invitation to grab even more. Because that's how dictators work. If you reward aggression, you don't get peace. You get more war. And yet, here comes Trump, proudly dusting off the old peace through surrender playbook, hoping Putin will be satisfied with a piece of Ukraine. Someone should tell him that land concessions aren't like unpaid casino debts. You can't just write them off and expect the problem to go away. Spoiler alert, he won't be. Putin's entire strategy has been built on pushing until he meets real resistance. Give him an inch and he'll take the whole map. But Trump, ever the deal maker, thinks the solution is to give Putin a discounted invasion and call it a win. And let's be honest, does Trump actually care about Ukraine's survival, or is he just trying to impress his old pal in Moscow? We all remember when he called NATO obsolete and froze military aid to Ukraine. Now he's back, and suddenly the best plan he can come up with is telling Zelensky to hand over the keys to a few cities and think about the bigger picture. You know, the bigger picture where democracy gets trampled under Russian tanks while Trump holds a campaign rally about how tough he is. But let's not pretend Trump's latest peace proposal is some genius geopolitical maneuver. This is a man whose conflict resolution skills involve calling people losers on social media and bragging about his golf scores while the world burns. Today's meeting wasn't a diplomatic breakthrough, it was a train wreck. The kind where one side is desperately trying to reason with an out-of-touch billionaire who thinks global conflicts can be solved with the same tactics he used to sell Trump steaks. Maybe next, he'll try offering Putin a free weekend at a failing Trump hotel in exchange for leaving Ukraine alone. Meanwhile, European leaders are watching this circus unfold in horror. They know that once you start normalizing land grabs, the world gets a lot more dangerous. If Putin is allowed to keep what he's taken, what's stopping China from eyeing Taiwan? What's stopping every other autocrat from deciding that military force is the easiest way to get what they want? Trump might not care, but the rest of the world does. And if he keeps pushing for this peace deal that rewards aggression, we might be watching history repeat itself, only this time with nuclear weapons in the mix. But hey, maybe Trump thinks that's just another art of the deal moment waiting to happen. And let's not forget Putin in all this. He's probably watching the whole debacle with a glass of vodka in hand, laughing. After all, Trump is doing his job for him. Why send in spies when you have a former US president telling Ukraine to surrender? Maybe next, Trump will start selling Russia first hats at his rallies. Who knows? At this rate, he might just rename Mar-a-Lago Putin's Winter Palace and invite oligarchs over for a round of golf while Kyiv burns. But hey, Trump never was much of a history buff. The man can't even remember which country he's running for president of half the time. So here we are in a world where Ukraine is expected to surrender for the sake of peace. Trump thinks he's a war negotiator, and Putin is sitting back watching it all unfold with a smirk. And the best part? The same people who once called themselves patriots are now cheering for a foreign dictator because their favorite TV personality told them to. If you want real news, not this circus act, hit that subscribe button for Zimwaves TV. We bring you the truth, whether the powerful like it or not.